Oh, hello, this is Tak Chung from Walk with Tak. Welcome to my YouTube channel. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and share. And please feel free to write me at this email address, walkwithtak@gmail.com, regarding any question you might have with this video or any other video. By writing me an email, I will be able to answer you more thoroughly, and I will reply promptly. Every day I love my walk in the morning, and I love to cook with my fast cooking system. And the word fast is the acronym for the 4 attributes, and which stand for flavor chasing, advanced prepping, stir frying, and template-based cooking. Of the 4 attributes, flavor chasing is probably the most important because we love flavor first before we love food. And in this video, I'm going to demonstrate how I improve the flavor of chicken and by coating them with cornstarch. And cornstarch turned out to be a very useful way to improve the flavor of your chicken. Okay, let me show you how I do this. I'm going to cook this dish in my Cuisinart 14-inch stainless steel wok for an important reason, because this wok has a large flat surface area, which is about 9 inches across, and it makes it perfect for cooking this dish. I start out by coating the chicken with about 1 tablespoon of cornstarch with about half teaspoon of my basic seasoning mix. Now this basic seasoning mix is intended to enhance the natural flavor of the chicken because it adds umami flavor to the chicken. And in fact, you can take a look at this video and to learn about what are the components in this seasoning mix. And I also have it available on Amazon, which you can purchase. I have the link below the video. My wife is not a big fan of chicken, but she loved how I cook the chicken this way. In fact, she told me that I cannot cook the chicken any other way because this is how she likes it. To cook this chicken dish, I first season the wok with my spot seasoning method to create a non-stick cook surface. I'm going to use this method to create a texture on the surface of the chicken that as close as possible to deep frying without actually using a lot of oil. This method is frequently known as shallow frying. I have a friend, Jim. He loved how to cook chicken this way. He loved fried chicken until he had a cardiovascular problem, and his physician told him that he cannot eat fried chicken anymore. He was very disappointed, and I showed him this method. He found that not only this method satisfied his desire for eating fried chicken, in fact he likes it even better. Now this method is commonly referred to as shallow frying. Basically is that you fry the chicken on one side first and then you turn it over to fry the other side. By using this method, you do not put a lot of oil in the wok, and you also coat the chicken only very lightly. And this is sufficient to create the type of texture very similar to fried chicken, but without all the calories that normally will go with fried chicken. Another reason Jim really liked this method is because normally with fried chicken, you can add many different types of seasonings to the batter. But in this method, you can do the same. You can mix the cornstarch with different kind of seasonings. In this case, I use my basic seasoning mix, but you can use other type of seasonings as well. According to my wife, this is probably the best way how she likes to eat chicken, because not only the texture of the chicken that is slightly crispy from the use of cornstarch, the cornstarch also have another important function. It protects the chicken from the heat. Therefore, the inside of the chicken is moist and tender. And this is the reason why it makes the chicken almost taste like deep fry. But of course, it is not deep fry. And for some people, they would say they would like deep frying better. But for a lot of other people, such as Jim, he actually liked this type of shallow frying better because he said the chicken is not as greasy as deep frying, and like better make the chicken's flavor more intense. This method also makes cooking the chicken much faster than deep frying because the chickens are cut in very thin slices, so the heat penetration is much better. And it usually takes only about 60 to 90 seconds to fry one side of the chicken before you turn it over. In many ways, this process is very similar to deep frying. By now, I'm ready to turn the chicken over to fry the other side. As I turn it over, you will notice that the chicken actually now have a nice crispy texture on the surface. And it also has some browning due to the presence of the cornstarch as well as the basic seasoning mix. And now I turn it over to fry the other side. You might say that the breading actually is not the same as deep frying. Without any questions, the breading is much thinner. For some people, this breading might be too thin. But for Jim, he likes fried chicken and he used to have a heavy breading. And he thinks this breading is just about right, not too thick. In fact, after he eat this type of shallow frying, he preferred this over the thicker breading that you get from deep frying. Actually, this shallow frying technique has many applications. You can use it to fry other type of proteins, such as pork, and it works really well with shrimp and fish. And another important advantage of this approach is that you can adjust the thickness of the breading by coating with different amount of cornstarch. And also, you can different type of seasonings to create a very different seasoning profile. Another advantage of this approach is by adding a little bit of sugar to the cornstarch and the seasoning mix, you can cause charring on the surface of the chicken. And then another advantage is that now you can season it and stir fry it with other ingredients. In this case, I start out with some oyster sauce, which is good starting point to create a teriyaki-like sauce. And then I'm going to add some hoisin sauce. I use a ratio of 2 parts of oyster sauce to 1 part of hoisin sauce, and you can add different amount that you would like. And then I finally add just a touch of a pre-made teriyaki sauce. You can adjust the flavor of this chicken anywhere you would like. You can make it a orange-like flavor, or you can make it like a kung pao chicken flavor. There's many options that you can choose from. One advantage in creating a chicken like this using the cornstarch approach is that you have a lot of flexibility, both in terms of how you want to cook the chicken, as well as how you want to season the chicken. There are many different possibilities, and this is why make this particular approach extremely flexible, allow you to create many different flavor profile, as well as different texture as you would like. And furthermore, the cook time is very fast. It takes only about 5 minutes, as compared to if you deep fry it, it will probably take at least 10 or 15 minutes. And chicken now, you can use it to lay over, say in this case, a vegetable stir-fry dish. And the nice thing about separating them is that you will have distinct flavor of the chicken in contrast to the vegetables. It makes the dish has a greater culinary experience than if you mix everything else together. And this cooking approach is really frequently is known as combinatorial stir-fry, which means that you cook individual components of the ingredients separately and then combine them together at the end. If you have an allergy to cornstarch, you can substitute the cornstarch with arrowroot starch, which my friend Dan used in coating his chicken and other proteins. Other than arrowroot starch, you can also use a polysaccharide known as xanthan gum, and it actually is a fermentation product of a bacteria. And this has similar property as cornstarch, but actually you use less of that in comparison to cornstarch to achieve the same result. Xanthan gum is used a lot in food processing. They use as an emulsifier, and a lot of time you find them in salad. So this is a way to cook chicken to give you great flavor, and I think you will enjoy it. So I will give it a try, and the cornstarch plays really a huge role to make your chicken taste better. Like I said, my wife said she would not let me to cook chicken any other way but this way, and she enjoyed this way more than any other approach in cooking them. So I post a video each day to help you to make home cooking as part of your daily routine. If you'd like to learn more about my fast cooking system, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. So keep on cooking. I will see you tomorrow.